Okay, tiny impromptu stream. I have been told by a friend of mine who should be watching now, and if she's not watching, then screw it, you missed it, to do this quiz. Is this a furry? Note, character being in the furry community does not count. This character is, regarding if the character is a furry character. Yep, okay. No nuance. That's fine. It's easy to tell if something's furry. It's very easy. Does it look like somebody got a massive boner when drawing it? If not, probably not a furry. Okay, cool. Not QB, not a furry. Audrey 2, not a furry. Mickey Mouse, not a furry. Robin Hood, furry. Definitely. He is like the furry. He is like the fucking goddamn, he is the motherfucking furry that, like, launched a lot of people into being furries. I guess I should look at my Twitch chat and see if anyone is actually commenting. Just for a sec. Hold up, folks. Hold up. Hold the phone. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Crusader King's free as a furry. Oh yeah, I should change my fucking I should change my stream thing. Uno momento, folks. We're not doing Crusader King's free. What the hell should I even put this down as a category? I'm gonna put it down as just talking. Just chatting. There we go. Just chatting. Done. Awesome. Back. Back to where I was. Okay. That was the important one, obviously. The Velveteen Rabbit. Well, this is like a soft toy. That is definitely not a furry. Whoever the fuck this guy... Werewolf, moon not full. I'd have to see him when the moon is full, so not a furry. I'm gonna guess that this... I'm not gonna guess. I'm gonna put my foot in the sand. This is not a furry. It's something, but I don't think it's furriness. Like, if you're like, I'm a furry because I like characters that are anime with little cat ears and like a tail without seeing where the tail even connects. Not a furry. Does not count as furry. Special week. I don't know. I don't know. Scar. Not a furry, which I think might run contrary to my boner thing, but I guess it just goes to show. Scar is meant to look like a real cartoon, like a cartoon lion, but he's like not bipedal. He's not even really that human in his facial features. He is a bit, obviously, because that's what you do with cartoons. Stupid fucking Disney live actions. No. Scar is not a furry, but he probably did get some people into being furries. Susie, I don't know who you are, but you are definitely a furry. You are most definitely a furry. That is a furry character. That is something you could see on the pages of DeviantArt if it wasn't overrun with AI now. That's a furry right there. Bold call. Bold call? I don't think it was that bold. Barry B. Benson, not a furry. He's a weird CGI bee. He's done as a joke. He is there for jokes. Now, this bee, I haven't seen the bee movie, but I believe canonically fucks a woman. But still... not a furry, because he's not meant to look sexy. It's meant to be funny that he fucked the woman. This is just a straight-up cat. I don't know what to say if you think this is a furry. I don't know what is wrong with you. That's just a cat. It's just a fucking cat. Princess Tiana, well, she's not in frog form. And even then, I'd say she's more of like a funny cartoon character, because again, it's not sexy that she's a frog. She just is a frog. Larry the Cucumber, not an animal at all, just a cucumber with eyes. You might as well say that Pickle Rick is a furry. This is just a Chikorita with a little bow. Again, not a furry. There are some Pokemon that are, but not Chikorita. Wanda, my boy Wanda, is not a furry. He is furry, but he's not a furry. He's not animal-esque. He's a weird, fuzzy alien hippie from beyond the stars. And he's meant to be a cheerful guy that solves people's problems and does silly banjo songs. Not a furry. The ears and anime tail girl not being a furry is a big call. Hey, that's probably the biggest one to make in this quiz, isn't it? Just being like, oh yeah, is that a furry? I say no. You don't get to go to the furry convention. You need to put a bigger line in the sand. Rudolph, again, just a talking claymation deer, not a furry. The lamb. Now the lamb is an anthropomorphic animal, so we're getting closer, but again, no, not a furry, not designed to be someone's OC, not designed to be sexy, designed to be a funny little guy who does satanic cult shit. That's the conceit of it. So not a furry. Foxy the Pirate. Foxy the Pirate isn't even alive. Foxy the Pirate is a child ghost haunting an animatronic. And even then, Foxy's design is more of a shitty animatronic thing like Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese I don't think is furry. Designed to entertain the masses, not anyone's persona, not a furry. The Thing, also not a furry. It's just in disguise. You might as well say that the spy wearing a mask with a little cat face on it is a furry. It's just in disguise, and it doesn't believe it's a dog at all. It knows it's the Thing. It's everybody else that doesn't know it's the Thing. And it's also not trying to let people know that it's the Thing. It wants people to think it's a dog, again, for the purposes of killing them. Not because it likes being a dog or dog-like. Shedinja. Again, there are many Pokemon that are furry. This is not one of them. This is just a shed cicada shell in ghost form. This guy. That is right on the line. That is right on the line. Furry or not? Furry or not? Let's see. I'm going to go with... It's really hard to say. Because of the saturation of the color, I am leaning into the furry direction. Bluey, not a furry, cartoon dog. This is a child's, people. Whatever the fuck this is. Seems like a demon. So probably not a furry. This is a dog wearing a tie. Also doesn't get to be a furry. Smough is a mighty dragon, not a furry. He's not human-like at all. Don't call him a furry, because that would imply that he is human-like, which would piss him off. Inklings, again, not furry, not squid-like enough. This is just a kid with some squid on them. I know that they are actually evolved from cephalopods. Doesn't matter. I didn't realize this was going to be so fucking long. Peter Rabbit, not a furry. Child's book. Sun Wukong, mythological figure, not a furry. Bullseye. He also does not look like a furry. Littlefoot. Littlefoot's a little dinosaur. Godzilla, kaiju. This is just a fox. This has no furry, this has absolutely no furry distinctions at all. In fact, it looks like a robot. Cornwall's not seen Spy X Family. No, I haven't. This thing, on the other hand, that's a furry. That's OC vibes. This guy, though, he's a funny cartoon. He's not a furry. The Noid, not even animalistic. Just a weird guy in a rabbit suit. Moomin Troll is a troll. Not a furry. Dry Bones, talking turtle skeleton, not a furry. Charlie Morningstar. Now, if I didn't know about Hazbin Hotel, I would be like, not a furry, but no. Vivzy Pop. They're all fursonas, just sort of with a bit of the fursona shaved off. So Charlie Morningstar is in fact a furry. There, not a furry. Animal's not any, he's an animal, but he's not any specific animal. He's a Muppet. Hello Kitty, not a furry. What the fuck is that? That looks like a furry to me. Grumpy Bear, not a furry. Also not looking very grumpy. Cast of Forever Gold. Okay, I'm seeing them morph into furries, so I'm going to put that as furry. Betty Boop, weirdly enough, also furry. She was originally like a bulldog or something, and then just got morphed into a more humanoid shape over time. If you know your animation history, you know that Betty Boop is in fact a furry. Toothless, not a furry. That's a dragon. Deathclaws, just an animal. Brave Little Toaster's a toaster. Spy Fox, cartoon animal. A Furby, a toy. Sans Undertale is a skeleton. Angelmon, Digimon, so I say yes, barely. You get to technically go, what the fuck is that? Well, that's a furry. Goofy, not a furry. This is an animal. This is not a furry. King Julian, also an animal, not a furry. The Grinch, not a furry. He's just a weird monster. Same with Creepers. Tony Chopper, he's a furry. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that originally they were not designed to be, but they have drifted into furry territory. That is my statement. But a skeleton of what? A skeleton of a talking turtle. But again, the talking turtles, the Koopas, are also not furries. Tony the Tiger is definitely a furry. Charlie, he's a weird monster man. He's not a furry. Bastet, Andrew would hate hearing this. Furry. That's an alien, not a furry. Lydon? No. Machoke. I'm gonna go with no, but we're getting dangerously close. Like, it's a muscular. I don't think it's really meant to look that attractive because it has this like lizardy face. You'd think any Pokemon somebody wants to bone is a furry, and some people would want to bone Machoke, but I don't think that was its original design intent. I'm gonna deny that bot. Koopas not furries is a huge call. It's not a huge call. They're like a video game animal. Same period platypus, cartoon animal. Darwin, not a furry. Gardevoir, furry. Bigfoot, not a furry. This thing, definitely a furry. Look at that. Like, it's a cyborg furry, but it's a furry. Like, Gardevoir is not an animal, but it's a Pokemon. Pokemon are basically animals. Jax. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, Jax, you are a furry. Because I don't like you. Firestar just seems to be a cat to me. Susie, furry. Dinosaur furry, but furry. Babar the elephant, colonialist, not a furry. Tuka, furry. Definitely, very much. The Beast, also yes. Again, not a specific animal, but definitely supposed to be an animal. Dipperpine's sock puppet. That's a puppet, and it's a puppet of a cartoon boy. So no. Garfield? Cartoon animal. Designed specifically. The guy that made it was like, I want to make the most marketable character ever, and so he went to work on this, and he achieved his goals. I don't admire him for it. But the guy who made this, he didn't make him to be vulnerable. He made him to be appealing. Charlie be barking. Ooh. I'm gonna say furry. He's not bipedal, he's not humanoid, but look at that face. And not all Dawn Blue animals are furries, but look at that face. I say Hazel? No. You're just tragic is what you... Dr. Doofenshmirtz is an ocelot, but he is not a furry. He was raised by ocelots. He technically can legally be called an ocelot, but he's not. The Minotaur, yes. This thing, this abomination, no. This Rainbow Dash, yes. This specific one. Lucario, also yes. Like, not normal Rainbow Dash, but humanoid-ish. That's not really humanoid. But humanoid Rainbow Dash, yes. Sonic. So you've given me two Sonics. One is no, one is yes. So I'm just going to say yes. Rat Child? No, Rat Child is a poor, unfortunate mutant child. Child is not a furry. 4, that's a number, not a furry. Nepeta? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I know that it said, hey, if this character is a furry, as a blah, blah, blah. But come on, look, she's so cat-like. That's her whole appeal. Her whole appeal is this. She's a self-insert for her. Daddy hurts. That was probably talking about that Full Metal Alchemist character, wasn't it? I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look like a furry to me. It looks cool, but not a furry. The Jersey Devil. No, that's not. Bowser? Now, if you were talking about Bowsette, this would be different. But no, Bowser is not a furry. Bowser is a video game monster. That's what he was designed for. SpongeBob, cartoon character, not a furry. Skimbleshanks, he looks like a fucking furry to me. Xenomorph? No. That's meant to be horrific. Claudine Wolf. Yeah, you look like a furry. Pluto. Just a dog, not a furry. What the fuck are you? Okay, I'm gonna say that you are indeed a furry. I'm putting the face to blame for that one. The face is to blame. PO Free? Not a furry. First of all, PO Free is not sexy. Second of all, PO Free was only turned into a stoat as like, well, not really as a punishment, but it was a punishment to him. And he was turned into a stoat by a furry, but he's not a furry. Prince Sidon, yeah, you look like a furry to me. Get in there. Knight Chess? I'm going to be controversial. People have pointed out that there's a lot of detail on those knights compared to the rest of the characters in chess. There we go. Regular Rainbow Dash? Not a furry. Loop? You do not appear to be a furry. You're part Constellation by the looks of it, but not a furry. Nephrite? No. You're a weird monster character, but you're not a furry. The Knight? Gonna say no. There's probably furries in that game, but you're not one of them. Zack and Wheezy? Yeah, you look like a furry. Renamon. Need I say any more? Jesus Christ, Sandy Charles iteration. Well, that's a furry. Jar Jar Binks? No, he's a funny alien. He's just not good at it. Just because he's not good at it doesn't make him a furry, though. He's designed for children. This guy, on the other hand, is a furry. GLaDOS? Robot. Computer, not a furry. Team Rocket's Meowth. Not a furry. It's a Pokemon that wants to be a person. Crash Bandicoot? This version, I'm going to say yes. The original version, I wouldn't say, but he's got a distinction between the chin and the rest of his body. And that has made him into a furry, in my mind. Phelan? Yes. Absolutely. Flowey? Not Flowey, as Real Dreamer is, but Flowey is not. Baba? No, Baba is not a furry. Baba was you. Airplane Dragons? Absolutely. Look at that. That is definitely a furry. The red guy? He's not a furry. He's a Muppet Man. He's a Muppet Man. Mean Machine? That's a mascot. That's not a furry. There's a big distinction. Now, some mascots can be furries, but mostly they're like this, where they're like big, goofy guys. Winston? You look like you were designed... No, you were designed by Blizzard. You're a furry. They wanted somebody to want to fuck you. I'd have to see your diversity chart to know for sure exactly, but they want someone to fuck you. This is a slime. This is not a furry. This is a furry. This, like, Moogle. Moogles are furries, I'd say. Especially if they look like this. Like, because he's got the irises. He's got the sclera. No, the part that you... The coloured part. He's got the coloured part of the eye, which means that he is a furry. And look at that nose and that mouth and that chin. He's not a normal Moogle. I take it back that Moogles are furries. They're not furries, but this one is. Look at him. Look at his face. Because there's a lot of things like spiked tongue and fusing whiskers can be messy, I'm going to go ahead and say furry on that one. Keeper said, what the hell did this come from? Nani linked this to me is the answer to that. Nani linked this to me and said stream it, and I was like, okay. Well, okay. Nani got Ben to do that. She did it by proxy. You're not a furry. You look like a Neopet. Incineroar, furry. Latios? You know, I wouldn't have said so if you'd asked me when I was a kid, but I think it is. I've seen the original design where it like mixes with Combuskin. The Were-Rabbit? Nope. Monster. Now, Lightning McQueen, he fucked your mom's shit lips, but he's not a furry. He's a car. Scooby-Doo? Cartoon animal. Not a furry. Sun Wukong? Again? Not a furry. Crow Mauler. Horrifying. It's meant to be horrific and not sexy. However, I think that the sex attitude is part of it. So I'm gonna go furry, and it was a furry that was designed to be an affront to furries. A furry character that was meant to make you hate furries. Cat in the Hat? No. Cartoon character. Finn the Human, he's a human. He was raised by dogs, but he's a human boy. It's like the only non-furry, like solidly non-furry in that show. This is an alien, not a furry. The Fly, horrible. Horrible, not a furry. Crow is from Fear and Hunger. I know Crow is from Fear and Hunger. That's why I said that. Otherwise I wouldn't know. Okay, this one is a furry for sure. Like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that wasn't a furry. This is a furry. Torracat, not a furry. Not walking on two legs. We got a little bit of dangerously furry area going on here and in here. But not really enough to say that's a furry yet. Masotan. I'm going to go ahead and say not a furry because I don't know how human this is. If I knew, if that stood on two legs when it landed, I'd be like, that's a furry. But I'm guessing that it lands on four legs when it lands. And is therefore, it is not a furry. The cheat is not a furry. He is another cartoon creature. He's not even an animal. He's just a cartoon creature. LPS Darshand number 675. You're creeping me out, but you're not a furry. Cthulhu. Not a furry. Submit. Alright. And there we go, folks. Questions, comments before the end of the stream? Anyone have anything else to say before I shut down? And let Andrew sleep? Because he's graciously allowed me to carry on further than I thought I was going to, because that was a long thing. If I'd have known it was longer, I probably would have given myself more time, but I didn't. Much applause from our household. Excellent. I'm glad this has cleared everything up for you. Some of you may be confused watching. Amani's grown up. She doesn't know what is a furry, what is not in that household. And I'm glad to have been a pillar of support so that she can know what is and is not a furry. And with that, I will bid you all good night. This has been an impromptu, and the only impromptu stream I've ever done. Tomorrow, Isaac. Maybe I'll beat Tainted Lost on greedier mode. To find out, join me again! Thank God we can rely on your sage wisdom. Magnificent, bravo. Excellent, excellent. I'm glad. I may upload that immediately to my channel.